Underdogs, man. Underdogs are going bold in this World Cup. Japan, Morocco, everyone. Like, Bretson, what's happening?
I don't know, but this is why the World Cup is the World Cup. My goodness, Japan, Morocco, Australia. I've loved every second of it, and those last set of games was absolutely bonkers. I mean, Costa Rica, even for a second, it was only until Kai Havertz decided to score 2 goals, but only for a second, they actually had a chance. They actually had a chance, but my goodness, that's what the World Cup is for. And now you've got Spain. Mm-hmm. If Portugal is going to win the group, now you've got Spain directly ahead of you, or Morocco.
Well, yeah, that's true. Or Morocco, facts. And I gotta say on Group B, just so we don't cut it from here with Group B, because Japan lost to Costa Rica with 1 shot suffered, and then they do the impossible and beat Spain and Germany, and they were losing 1-0 in both games.
Yeah. Well, listen, Alex. Yeah, exactly, Alex. We now have our answer of who is better between Jamal Musiala, Gavi, and Pedri. It's Ritsu Dewan. It's Ritsu Dewan. Just kidding. I'm kidding. But I mean, come on. I joke, but like Jamal Musiala, he goes out trying to be the champ for Germany, trying to be the guy to do things. Mm-hmm. I think he held on to the ball a little too much, but guess what Jamal Musiala is going to be? He will be the top dribbler at the World Cup. He had 18 dribbles won in 3 group stage games. And I don't think I know Brazil and Portugal play tomorrow, but I don't think there's anyone that is coming close to that, because right now it's Alphonso Davies in second with 11. Ooh. So,
man,
amazing
impression. Yeah. And I'm just going to say, too, I think Jamal Musiala leaves this World Cup and he can say, I was the best player in that Mannschaft. I was the guy between the lines, and I made the sauce happen. And without Timo Werner, that Mannschaft didn't look good. And yeah, I gotta say, and Gavi, that's the player I'm most scared, man. And you said about the brackets, and now us Portugal, we will play or Serbia or Switzerland, and afterwards Morocco or Spain. And I wasn't happy that now we're gonna go against Luis Enrique and Gavi. But do I believe we're gonna win? 100% I do. Okay, 100%. Because right now, it's no debates, in my opinion, that the best midfielder in this World Cup is Bruno Fernandes, okay? 2 goals, 2 assists. I only put Chouamani there, okay?
Oh, come on. Got to give it a little love to my guy, Tyler Adams, please. All right? Casemiro as well. He's entering the chat. I think he's been pretty good so far. No, I mean, there are other shouts, but yeah, Bruno, I think Bruno's going to feast a little bit. Well, actually, is he going to play tomorrow versus South Korea? He likely will, right?
I think we should rotate tomorrow, to be honest.
Okay.
I think we should give a chance to Diogo Dalot. I think Palhinha should play, and maybe Patrice should just be there too, you know? But Diogo Costa, for me, starts in the most important games, 100%. Yeah. And with Bruno, too, we have to mention, it's disappointing for Belgium. Okay, with Kevin De Bruyne, Lukaku, that had an unforgettable game for not the best reasons. There were four great chances, 2 sitters that Lukaku missed, and his legacy's done. He's done.
I'm going to say it. Yeah, I'm going to say it right now. International retirement might be coming for him, 1.
I could see that.
And 2, he's going to be remembered for that.
Facts. For
the rest of his life. And to see a man break down like that at the end of the game, that was actually tough. That was really, really, really tough to watch. I don't care what you think of him as a player. Nobody ever necessarily, he was brought in to be the spark plug. He was the spark plug in the sense that he got into the positions to be delivered the glorious opportunity to send Belgium through, even though they're all 70 years old, according to Kevin De Bruyne. And he couldn't get it done. And you want to know one of the big reasons why he couldn't get it done?
Because he's not good enough.
Josko. Well, yes, but also Josko Gvardiol.
It's true.
Also Josko Gvardiol.
What a game for him.
I mean, that kid that kid, he was the best player on the field.
Facts.
He was the best player on the field, bar none. So, but Lukaku had his chances, and I think that is what you would call the fizzling, formal end of what is the Belgian golden generation. Because while they have ridiculous talent ahead in the form of Jeremy Doku, De Ketelaere, Romeo Lavia, Zeno de Bast, Amadou Onana looks pretty good, right? This is not the same. It's not the same.
Facts.
So it is a new world for Belgium, and it's a little sad.
It's a new world, Breton, in which the golden generations are with Portugal, Spain, England. Those are the real golden generations coming. And now Belgium have to accept that Hazard didn't work. De Bruyne, Lukaku, Courtois, Mertens, Tielemans, suffered too with all this. And it didn't work out for this golden generation. Absolute facts. I was shocked. And I gotta say, big highlight for me, the best player in the Group F, 100% in my opinion, is Hakim Ziyech, okay? Thank God he came back from that retirement, that he made that decision 8 months ago, because he's the reason why Morocco were the first African team since 1998, okay, to top the group in the World Cup, okay? Big shout out to that. And again, best fullbacks, one of the best fullbacks in the World Cup with Mazraoui and Achraf Hakimi.
Well, I think you actually make a good point there, because the only one that was better than Ziyech was the collective defense of Morocco. They conceded one goal, I believe, right? And you've got Mazraoui. You've got Mazraoui, you've got Aguerd, who I don't think had the greatest group stage. It was Roman Saiss, in my opinion, that had one of the best group stages for a center back pretty much throughout the whole tournament. And then you have Hakimi on the right. And that four with Bono in goal, that was pretty dang impressive. And I'm going to say it right now for Morocco fans. I also was incredibly impressed with the industrious nature of your midfield. Amrabat and Azzedine, 22-year-old Azzedine Ounahi. If you don't know his name now, you're going to know his name post World Cup, because right now he's languishing at the bottom of Ligue 1 with Angers, and somebody needs to come on in and buy this guy, okay? Because he was great for them. But Morocco deserved every bit of the success they saw in the group stage, and I think they like this setup. It's literally a showdown of the Iberian Peninsula, and that I know I've done this before. I went across to Morocco via ferry from Algeciras in Spain. And Portugal's right there, right around the corner. So, man, is it going to be a fun round of 16 for these groups.
I was shocked with Morocco, to be honest. And going back, you mentioned Peninsula Iberic. Peninsula Iberic, obviously Portuguese, that's what I was translating in my head. But I just want to give final shout when I mentioned, Portuguese bias a bit. Bruno, and mentioning Belgium too with Kevin De Bruyne. I start to think that Kevin De Bruyne looks like the best midfielder in the world because he plays with Pep Guardiola. And I was thinking to myself, what if Bruno Fernandes played at Man City with Pep Guardiola? Would he have big numbers too? I really believe he would, with Haaland in front of him performing well. So Kevin De Bruyne is kind of getting exposed in this World Cup. That is something I have to say. I just had to say. Fede Valverde being considered a more informed midfielder than De Bruyne, that can happen. That can be the case. So I just wanted to say that.
But the same can be said about, like, we've seen Messi fail before, even after having, say, good tournaments. And sometimes, the wonderful thing about football is that it ain't one person that can carry it. Sometimes it works that way. But you need to have all 11 on the same page, and if you're going to win the World Cup. And Belgium, Kevin De Bruyne kind of pulled the rug out of them with those negative comments. But Roberto Martinez, gone. He's gone after 6 years. I'm not sure what he's got to show for it, but he is moving on, and I'll be interested to see, is it Kompany that they pull from Burnley? Is it Thierry Henry, who's an assistant right now, that they give the keys to Belgium. I don't know. I don't know what the next step is for Belgium, but we're not here to talk about that, the future today. If we're going to talk about Portugal, then I have to go back, rewind back, and talk about my boys.
Yeah.
Because we didn't get a chance to talk about that win against Iran. Well, and if you watch that first half, right, that first half tells me that we have the ability to compete in this round of 16. We have the ability to compete with the Netherlands. We do. But if the second half happens, and I'm going to tell you right now, Greg Berhalter made that second half so much tougher than it had to be with crappy substitutions. Terrible substitutions that did not need to happen. Shaquille Moore should not play.
Who has to play against the Netherlands for you, Bretson?
Yeah. That MMA midfield needs to be as locked in as it was.
So who's the midfield? So it has to be
Weston McKennie, Yunus Musa, Tyler Adams need to be as locked in as they were against Iran. Okay. Yunus Musa proved once again that he's probably one of the best young midfielders at this tournament, if not the best young midfielder at this tournament. What was that?
I had a Gavi. Well, I had a Jude Bellingham. But that's so bold. That's really bold.
I mean, I don't think it's that insanely bold. Am I saying, in terms of the form, in looking at how he's played in each particular game, he's definitely up there with Gavi. And yes, I think he nudges ahead of Jude so far in terms of what he has offered to this American squad in terms of defensive stability, as well as the ability to then turn it right into offense. I don't know, but we'll see.
I love it.
We'll
and
see.
I want to say Tyler Adams, for me, is the best player in this U.S. men's national team in the World Cup, in my opinion. And he is the youngest captain in the tournament. I can't see Leeds keeping him too long, and it's great to see the engine of this team. And in the next World Cup, surely he'll be there next to Musa, next to Girena, Pulisic. So much youth, man. And shout out to Gaga Slonina.
There you go. Well, no, he's not only the youngest captain at the tournament, he's the youngest captain by 4 years. 4 years at this tournament. So it's not even close. And that was also the youngest starting 11 for any team in the whole World Cup so far. Okay, so it's 24 years old that started that particular day. So this is a team that 4 years from now, you're looking at like a normal average age of 28 if you start the same starting 11. And that's with old Tim Ream, who has somehow turned back the time. He is old, but man, was he so good against Iran. So I just, there's a lot to be excited about. And Christian,
Ream, you could put Chris Richards. Instead of Tim Ream, you could put Chris Richards. And how old would be the average of that team if there was no Tim Ream?
23, 22 highs. We saw it in qualifying because Tim Ream and Cameron Carter-Vickers were barely a part of qualifying. Barely a part of qualifying. In fact, I can't even remember the last time Cameron Carter-Vickers played a game for us. I believe it might have been in a friendly versus Morocco. A really long time ago, okay? And he came in, and Greg Berhalter made a bold decision to say, I'm going to bench Walker Zimmerman because even though he has been okay, he hasn't been Tim Ream great. And I'm going to put in Cameron Carter-Vickers probably because he's a little bit faster. That's it, right? And Cameron Carter-Vickers had himself a game. And it's not surprising. This guy went to Celtic and made himself indispensable at Celtic. And that's not exactly easy to do. But then to do it in the World Cup with 3 points needed, that was huge. And also big shout out to Christian Pulisic, literally putting his family jewels on the line, even though it was his abdomen that was hurt. But scoring that goal, man, I mean, that was just a great a moment for him.
And I see here in the chat, thank you, Ultra Gamers, okay? Because there's here another midfielder that I think's performing maybe at the same level. Not better than Musa. It's Enzo Fernandez, in my opinion, okay? Enzo Fernandez and Julian Alvarez must starts for Argentina every game in this World Cup. I'm sure Messi must think the same, man. The remontadas, they're indispensable. Like, what?
Yeah.
Like,
all I gotta say is I'm bullish on all of the young midfielders. I mean, the five you just listed, I've got
Enzo,
in terms
Gavi,
of Enzo,
Musa, Jude Bellingham, and who's the last one?
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna throw in there a guy that was lined up at left back for France.
I'm
gonna throw in Eduardo Camavinga.
Yeah,
because even Caicedo, even though they lost to Tunisia, even though they lost with their B team or whatever you want to call it to Tunisia, Camavinga was everywhere on that pitch, absolutely everywhere, and looking phenomenal. And I'd just be really worried moving forward at Real Madrid if you are left back or right back. Ancelotti might get some ideas from this. He might say, I'm going to put him at left back.
And
we'll see what happens.
In the game situations, needing a goal, I could see that.
Yeah.
Desperate goal. That happened with Rodrigo. Desperate moments, desperate times, Real Madrid. But I have something I got to say. And I was thinking this yesterday. And I said, I got to say this to the FC Wonderkid community. Because Messi in this World Cup has already missed 2 penalties, okay?
Yeah.
2 crucial penalties. And I was thinking to myself, if Cristiano Ronaldo had missed, no, I'm not saying 2, 1 penalty, okay, against, like, the world would go on top of him. Like, it would be insane, the amount of criticism that Ronaldo would get. I understand Messi's a playmaker, Ronaldo's a finisher. But a penalty in the World Cup is a penalty in the World Cup. And missing 2, like losing to Saudi Arabia, Ronaldo would be crucified if that happened. So I want to say, Cristiano Ronaldo, keep doing what you're doing and maintain that focus. Because I'm bullish on Portugal. I'm starting to feel it, Breton. I'm starting to feel it. Going against Serbia, Portugal, we've beaten Uruguay. We got to beat Serbia. Our second demon, and the third demon would be Spain. Spain. If we win these 3 games, we go with the right mindset to win it all in this World Cup, man. Fernandes, bora lá, meu. Bora lá, Felix.
Well, I do have to say, obviously Lionel Messi does not want to be remembered for that, but yes, he is the only man ever in World Cup history to miss 2 penalty kicks at a tournament. But I am going to say, I don't know what your Twitter timeline looks like, but it's pretty even, the Twitter army between Messi fans and Ronaldo fans, because Messi was getting his fair share of hatred, if you will, online, which it is what it is. He stepped up, but nobody I guess expected Wojciech Szczesny to turn into some sort of a goalkeeping god for the tournament for Poland, even though he couldn't keep the 2 goals out. He saved that, and that was, I believe, he's one of the only goalkeepers ever. I don't know if he is the only goalkeeper ever to save 2 penalty kicks in one World Cup group stage. But hey, when it comes down to that Argentina-Poland game, the 3 people that you and I kept saying have to start for Scaloni and for Argentina were the 3 people that made the largest. I'm patting myself on the back here. I'm patting you on the back through the camera. Alexis McAllister, Julian Alvarez, and Enzo Fernandez, and there you go. And I don't envy the team that faces Argentina next, and that is Australia. So,
and then Australia. Oh my gosh. The brackets are so hard. But who's your favorite right now, Bretson, with the situation of brackets? Your favorite right now with the situation of brackets.
My God. I mean, right now, if you're looking at realistic outcomes, it looks like it's going to be a Brazil-Argentina semifinal, potentially. And it's looking like it's going to be, I don't know. It could be Portugal-France semifinal. So with that, I mean, that's mouthwatering. It is. But I do.
Brazil Argentina.
Brazil Argentina semifinal could be, wow.
No, Brazil,
that'll be fun.
So the final of Messi with Argentina and Portugal with Cristiano Ronaldo is possible. It's possible, people.
It is possible.
Oh, man, I'm getting chills.
It is possible.
And Enzo Fernandez by then will already be starting for Argentina, man. Why didn't Saudi Arabia go in first, man? And we would see France, Argentina. Ah, man.
Reversion to the mean when it comes to that. But, like, listen, Argentina has been revving up. They've been playing a little bit better every game, but they still have not played to the point where I'd be like, ooh, those guys are World Cup champions.
Facts.
You know? They still haven't played anywhere close to that. So, I mean, if I'm Australia, I'm going to go in there. First off, I do have to say, everybody, that there's not one, but now there are two teams in the round of 16 that like to call this fair game we all love, football. They like to call it soccer. And they are now both. Australia, I think, well, that's one of the bigger surprises to wind up in the round of 16. And they're doing it with guys that are not named Tim Cahill. They're doing it with guys that are not named Harry Kuehl. They're doing it with guys that are not named Mark Bosnich. That's a one from way back, okay? They are doing it not with guys named Mark Viduka. So this is really, really interesting. They don't really have a star on the team. If you're going to name a star, I mean, I guess you would say Mitchell Duke or the goalkeeper, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess, it's got to be Matthew Ryan, who barely gets time as it is with whatever team he's at now. So Argentina cannot brush over Australia in any way, shape, or form because they've been stingier. And Argentina clearly have lost to Saudi Arabia already. So I don't know what's going to happen.
I'm going to say my favorites until now is Brazil. Brazil still have 0 goals suffered before the game against Cameroon. And Neymar is going to be back in the knockout stages. And Neymar has something to prove. The whole team of Brazil wants to back Neymar because Neymar gets so much backlash from the Brazilian media. So now's the time for him to drop the mic, as I always say. Neymar, bora lá.
Yeah.
So let's see. Bruno Guimaraes starting too. Let's see. Dani Alves might play against the Cameroon just to get a game on his back. Just to get that cap.
There you go. Just to get that cap. Well, we're going to have to say goodbye to another 39-year-old, I think. Actually, I don't know how old he is, but Andres Guardado, potentially Memo Ochoa, although he'll only be 40 or 41 at the next World Cup. So who knows? He might. He's definitely going to do it. San Memo is going to be there. But listen, it's been since 1966. It's been 66 years. 66 years, right? Since I believe that's what it is. Hold on. Am I saying that correctly? It's been a really long time. I don't know if it's actually 66 years since Mexico did not make it out, right, of the group stage, okay? That is like kind of a big deal, but it's also incredibly necessary for Mexico to move on. Because Mexico has been, anyone that's surprised by this has clearly had their head stuck under a rock for a long period of time. Because here's the bevy of red flags for El Tri. They lost the Gold Cup to our B team. They lost the CONCACAF Nations League. Their U20 squad failed to qualify for the U20 World Cup. Their U23 squad failed to qualify for a tournament they normally take seriously, the Olympics in 2024. Then they went out in the group stages of the World Cup for the first time in not since 1966, in 44 years. That's the number. In 44 years, the first time they lost, qualified, and went out in the group stages. And in 4 years, they're going to be a co-host of the World Cup. So if you want to kick in the butt to do something right and to reset your program and put more faith in the youth that you should be producing, like the Omar Campos of the world, okay, or the Fidel Umbris of the world, then now is the time to do it, Mexico, because man, oh man, was that tough to watch. First off, they had to kind of skate by Saudi Arabia, but they were going out. They gave up a 95th minute goal that would have, they would have been tied on goal differential, and they would have lost on a different tiebreaker, which was yellow cards. But, like, my goodness, something needs to be done with that Mexican Federation. I said it on the last live. They deserve more, and I think you're going to see this be the kick in the teeth that they all needed in order to come back and come back stronger. Because Mexico is too big, too proud of a nation, too much of a footballing nation to not be there and competing in the World Cup round of 16. That's my opinion.
I agree. Tata Martino out, just like Roberto Martinez out, man. And that just shows if the difference was yellow cards in that group, Szczesny's 2 saves, 2 penalty saves were absolutely crucial for Poland to go through. So he's the real hero of the Polish national team, not Lewandowski in this World Cup. But he did score his first goal in a World Cup, which had to happen, man. Had to happen. So I want to ask you, just ending here, so who'd you... and Nonun Minch, just want to say, Nonun Minch in the World Cup, he's going to be out, okay, people? Danilo has 3 fractured ribs, so the likelihood if Pep gets injured, it's Antonio Silva that gets the chance, and deservingly so. The kid is ready. I received information that he was the first person to be in the Cidade do Futebol training camp before going to Qatar, and the kid is working hard in everything outside the pitch, okay? Work related with tactics. Sorry, yes.
Yeah. Does that mean if I show up first that they'll put me in the starting 11?
Well, if you're like 12 hours before just to prep tactics, like that shows a lot at 19.
I know. I'm kidding around with you.
I'm joking. But who do you think's the best player in the World Cup until now? Like,
oh my gosh.
Who do you think? I'm gonna go Mbappe. Mbappe, in my opinion, in terms of performances, he carried France to be in the position that they're at. So I go Mbappe.
Yeah, and at the moment, if it's not Mbappe, I'd almost say it was, Griezmann's looked phenomenal for them as well. I know it's biased to say, what's his name? To say like a Tyler Adams, but he has been absolutely outsized for us. I really, really do believe that. I just think a lot of these, a lot of the ones we'd probably be talking more about a Gavi or Pedri right now. But man, that loss to Japan has got to make Morocco be absolutely just their mouth watering, ready to take on the Spanish national team for the right to maybe take on Portugal or Serbia, or, whoever it is. But ultimately, man, I don't know. I'd have to think more of that. And I'm sure on our next live, we're going to talk about, best of the group stage, what we got right, what we got wrong. Yes. And then we got to do our knockout stage predictions when everything's set, right?
Facts. And I see a comment here of Nick, man. And I'm going to say Cody Gakpo too. Cody Gakpo must be mentioned as one of the best players in this World Cup because this season, his stats are ridiculous. He's got 24 games, 13 goals, and 17 assists. Those are ludicrous numbers ahead in goal involvements of Erling Haaland. That says it all. And
Hakim Ziyech, I would throw that name in there as well because he has had an outsized impact for them. Even if he's assisting or if he's got the goal, even then he is the guy that occupies each and every one of those defenses that Morocco busted through. Not to end on a negative note, man, but I do have to ask you just one simple question. What the hell happened to Denmark?
And to Germany, man. Both and bottom in their respective groups.
But here's what is so bonkers about it. Like Denmark in qualifying was like the Denmark that charged ahead in those Euros after Christian Eriksen went down. They picked up that flag and they kept charging forward, and they were everybody's darling team. And then they went through qualifying where they had 9 wins in 10 games and they scored 30 goals, and then they did none of that in a group that they should have gotten out of. Unbelievable. And it was insane to see guys like Christian Eriksen, to see guys like Andreas Skov-Olsen, to see these guys that we've seen really kind of step up before, right? Damsgaard, Kjaer, and Schmeichel. These guys had looks of worry and looks of pain on their face throughout the whole group stage. They never looked themselves, ever. So they need a little bit of a reset too, I guess, or something happened in the camp that cannot be explained the same way a De Bruyne comment can be explained. So it baffles me. And Germany back to the drawing board. But I know who player number 1 is on that team sheet every damn day from here on out, whether it's a post-Hansi Flick era or not from here on out, it's Jamal Musiala.
Facts.
It's Jamal Musiala.
Facts.
So
please, people, put down below who's your best team in this World Cup, who's the best player, and let's see who's the most underrated player that we haven't mentioned in this live in the comment section. We want to see those comments. And please, don't forget to like this live if you want to see more lives of